Hold on to your hats, it's going to be wild. Listen to our AI-generated podcast review of Chapter 6, Witch Trinity, The Calling, a delight for the dark fantasy enthusiasts. A new chapter of the podcast will be available weekly, so subscribe or click the notification bell to not miss out. And please share the link with others. Enjoy the podcast.
Ever feel like your life's teetering on a knife's edge? Like one wrong step and boom, everything spirals out of control.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the kind of energy we're tapping into today as we dive deep into the callings.
Okay.
Where we meet this force of nature they call Witch Trinity.
Yeah, and let me tell you the name itself. It's a bit of a misnomer.
Okay.
It's not just like three witches, hanging out, working together.
Right.
It's three beings,
Mm-hmm.
Delf, Shorn, and Serena,
Okay.
merged into a single entity.
Wow.
Like imagine the combined power of three hurricanes,
Okay.
each one representing like a different aspect of nature's fury.
Mm-hmm.
Now try to imagine them working in perfect harmony.
Oh.
That's the ideal state of Witch Trinity.
Okay, so I'm getting some serious Captain Planet vibes here, but with, like, way higher stakes.
Infinitely higher.
Yeah.
Because without Serena, the third member of this powerful trifecta,
Right.
their control is dangerously fractured. Chapter 6 throws us right into the fire.
And they're in a crypt, which usually means someone's 6 feet under.
Exactly.
Not exactly the cheeriest of locations for a magical intervention.
Precisely. But remember, death is just one half of the equation.
Right.
Witch Trinity embodies both. Life and death, growth and decay. The crypt is symbolic, a stark reminder of the delicate balance they're struggling to maintain, even as their own power threatens to consume them.
Right, so without all three witches in sync, things could get messy fast.
Yeah.
It's like that old saying,
Yeah.
too much of a good thing, right?
Exactly. Without Serena's grounding presence, Delf and Shorn are locked in a tug of war. Delf, driven by the instinct to nurture and heal, wants to unleash unchecked life force upon the world. Wounds healing instantaneously. Sounds idyllic, right?
Yeah, sure.
Until you realize that without death, resources would be depleted, and the planet would essentially choke on its own abundance.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going with this. It'd be like a garden where you never prune anything.
Exactly.
Just constant overgrowth until it becomes this tangled, unusable mess.
Precisely. And on the other side of the spectrum, we have Shorn, who represents the natural order of decay and renewal,
Right.
without Serena's influence.
Yeah.
Shorn's power threatens to tip the scales in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Imagine a world where every cut festers, where every illness lingers,
Oh, no.
where the cycle of life grinds to a halt.
So not exactly a picnic either way. Right. It's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place, or maybe a blooming jungle and a decaying wasteland in this case.
And to make matters worse,
Okay.
Witch Trinity senses a malevolent force at play.
Oh, no.
Remember, we're talking about powerful magic here.
So what do they do? Can't they just, like, magic their way out of this?
Their powers are immense, but not without limitations.
Okay.
They can't risk exposing themselves, not while Serena is vulnerable. Direct intervention could shatter the very balance they're sworn to protect. It's like trying to dismantle a bomb with oven mitts on. One wrong move, and the consequences are unthinkable.
So they're stuck between a rock, a hard place, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. Talk about pressure. What's their next move?
Desperation often leads to, risky decisions.
Okay.
And in this case, using Serena's fiancé, Simon, as their pawn.
Using Serena's fiancé as a pawn, that's a bold move.
It is. So think of it as like a mystical possession,
Okay.
but with a, slightly less sinister twist.
Okay.
Using the grimoire, they perform this binding spell,
Right.
essentially merging their essence with Simon's.
So they're like slipping into a human suit,
Yeah, exactly.
using Simon as their like avatar in the real world.
Mhm.
But wouldn't that be like incredibly dangerous for Simon?
Oh, absolutely.
What if something goes wrong?
It's a risk they're willing to take. Remember, they're racing against time, against forces they don't fully understand. And this chapter offers us a glimpse into just how high the stakes really are.
Okay.
We learn that Witch Trinity wasn't always the sole custodian of magic on Earth.
Oh, really? So there were other witches before them?
Oh, absolutely.
Other groups, like, wielding this kind of power.
Jones hints at this rich history. Entire covens, who once commanded the elements, influence the rise and fall of empires. It's almost as if he's woven, real-world mythology and folklore into the very fabric of this story.
Which makes you wonder, what happened to these covens?
Yeah.
Why were they stripped of their power?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
We learn that Gaia, Mother Earth herself, she intervened.
Wow.
She deemed the covens too unstable, too easily seduced by their own desires.
They got a little power hungry.
A little too power hungry.
Yeah.
She created Witch Trinity as a safeguard, a single entity to bear the weight of all magic and ensure balance.
Okay, but I imagine that didn't go over well with everyone. Taking away that much power, that much autonomy.
Right.
There must have been some serious backlash.
Oh, undoubtedly. And this is where things get really interesting. Remember Crow?
Yeah, the enigmatic leader of these covens who resisted Witch Trinity's creation.
Exactly.
Yeah, the name itself just, sends chills down my spine.
Right.
Something bad is going to happen with a name like Crow.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, could this attack on Serena be an act of revenge?
Oh.
A desperate attempt to reclaim the power that was lost.
It's certainly a chilling thought,
It is.
Simon.
Yeah.
It's not just about using him. There's this sense of, connection.
Yeah, and Delf in particular seems drawn to him.
Right.
And that's what I find so fascinating about this entity.
Yeah.
They are one being, yes, but comprised of these three distinct personalities,
Right.
each with their own experiences, their own desires.
Right.
Could this be Delf's inherent nurturing instinct kicking in?
Okay.
Or is it something more, like a side effect of the binding spell, perhaps?
Either way, it adds another layer of complexity to an already tangled web. They're fighting for the fate of the world while grappling with their own internal struggles, their own growing attachment to this, unsuspecting human.
And let's not forget the toll that wielding this much magic is taking on them.
Right.
They're already weakened without Serena.
Yeah.
And every spell, every peek into the grimoire, it drains them further.
Oh, wow.
It really highlights the urgency of their mission,
Right.
the very real possibility that they could run out of time, run out of power, before they can set things right.
It's like they're juggling chainsaws blindfolded.
Right.
They got to find Serena.
Yeah.
They got to decipher this enemy's plan and manage their own internal chaos, all while tethered to this regular guy who thinks he's just having a weird day.
And that's where Jones's masterful storytelling really shines through.
Okay.
He captures the sheer disorientation of Simon's experience.
Right.
Imagine being plucked from your life. Your senses suddenly flooded with these unfamiliar sights, sounds, emotions.
Yeah, it'd be enough to make anyone question their sanity.
Absolutely.
Right. There's that scene where they essentially pull Simon through, like a portation spell.
Right.
They materialize him, right there in their creepy crypt hideout.
Which, let me tell you, is no easy feat.
Right.
Portation requires an immense amount of focus, control over the very fabric of space and time.
Wow.
The fact that they even attempted in their weakened state speaks volumes about the urgency of the situation. It's a testament to Jones's ability to blend humor and horror,
Yeah.
The scene it's comical,
Right.
but it's also terrifying.
Because how do you even begin to explain something
Right.
so far outside the realm of, normal human experience? It's like trying to describe color to someone who's been blind since birth.
Precisely. And yet they have to try.
Right.
The fate of the world, quite literally, depends on Simon's cooperation.
Wow.
So they take another gamble, this risky mind meld, sharing their knowledge,
Okay.
their memories, shielding him just enough so he doesn't completely lose it.
Oh, man.
It's a pivotal moment,
Yeah.
a real turning point for Simon.
Okay.
He goes from clueless bystander to, reluctant participant in this cosmic drama.
And from there, it's like, boom, things escalate so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
With Simon as their vessel, they port again,
Yeah.
this time to, the last known location of Serena.
Okay.
And what do they find? The possessed man.
That, my friend, is the beauty of a well-crafted story.
It is. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, makes you want to know more.
Jones leaves us wanting more, our imaginations running wild with possibilities.
And that is The Calling by David Jones.
That's it.
Such a great deep dive. I really appreciate your insights on this.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah. Until next time.
Until next time.